Hi, I'm Kate. Welcome to Blooms in the Yard. In today's video, I'm going to show you some mistakes that I've made, just mostly with placement of plants. A lot of things I knew better, but when you've got so many plants to put in the ground in spring, you're like, oh, maybe this will work this time. So I'm going to be moving a couple things around. Sorry about if you can hear that construction noise. It's going to be endless here for a while. It's raining, but I have work to do, so I'm going to try to work. If it gets too crazy, I'll go in. I have two very big problems in this rock garden. This all looks good over here. One problem is I'm really not happy with these Snapdragons. I mean, they're pretty if you get in here and look at the actual blooms. They're pretty, but the flopping and I mean, they were in the wrong place. I kind of suspected that they would be. But the bigger problem is this stuff. This is the native wild Ageratum. I had put one plant here and it just took over the world, and I took it out and now it's just coming back everywhere. So it's really close to this tree back here. I don't know how well you can see, but it's all this stuff coming up. It's honestly a bit of a nightmare. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of it. The rain is really picking up, but so my goal is get rid of this Ageratum as much as I can today. And I might just take the Snapdragons out. They're not really doing anything for the area. They're just too tall for here. Last year, I had them more in the middle of the border back there, and I should have just put them there again. I have something else over there. I think the bee balm has spread, and I tried to put the foxglove there. So, you know, not everything always turns out perfectly in the garden. And this is a case where I should have followed my instincts. I knew it might be kind of a disaster here, but that's what I'm going to work on today. I just took a look at the radar, and there's a big storm coming. I might only be able to be out here for 5 or 10 minutes, but I just feel like every little bit helps. I've been out of town for 2 weeks, and I haven't, there's just a ton of work to do in the garden. There's barely any roots there, so it's just like the stuff can come back from nothing. I have a love-hate relationship with this native Ageratum, and right now it's definitely leaning more towards hate. This plant was way up here, probably 2 or 3 feet in front of where it is now, and I moved it, and it's just like impossible to get rid of. I think what I'm gonna do, I was gonna dig it, but I think I'm just gonna keep pulling it until it stops coming back, because I'm not sure digging it does any good. Just more appears. I don't know. And you can tell that I'm frustrated right now. Mostly because it's growing right in with this crabapple. I don't want to dig in the roots of the crabapple. So I did try to just cut those Snapdragons down and see if I could live with it, and I'm like, when they grow back, they're just going to have the same problem. So I did decide I was going to go ahead and pull them all out and replace them with a couple of Vinca. I have 2 extra Vinca just to the right of this, and the sedum is kind of encroaching on the Vinca, so I'm like, they need to be moved anyway. I'll move them right here, and hopefully they'll fill this area in pretty nicely in time. So here is a quick update on this rock garden by my entryway. I had those apple blossom snapdragons here, and they were just messy. I just couldn't deal with it. They were even blooming, like they were when they should have been looking great, and they were too floppy, and I just couldn't deal with the mess. And I know that my mailbox garden, you know, is flopping everywhere, but when you have all the plants flopping together, it works. But here it wasn't working for me. So I went ahead and I moved. I had two Vinca right here that were getting swallowed up by the sedum. I moved them there. Then I had two Vinca that were really close to this white Gilla. I moved those around to the front. So put them here. I think I'm probably going to regret these snapdragons too. I did think they were going to be a shorter variety, and they're not really. So I cut down the foxglove beard tongue. That will fill in and be nice little mounds here in a couple of weeks. So I thought I better go ahead and put the Vinca here, because I have a feeling I'm going to end up taking these snapdragons out as well. I wish that I had just put like 10 Vinca in here. Sorry, I just had a mosquito on my hand. So yeah, I'm learning. I mean, and I knew better about putting those apple blossom snapdragons there. I knew I was probably going to regret that, and I just didn't know where else to put them. They're definitely a back of the border plant, or middle, not right in front. This is a verbena, which looked really good. The rabbits ate it while I was gone, so that's why it is now covered. Oh, I missed one little piece of Ageratum. I'll have to get in there and get that. And hopefully this Ajuga will fill in and spread around in time. I did have to pull out a lot of that wild Ageratum, so all through here, all in here the other day. So hopefully I can get rid of that stuff. I've been going back and forth about whether to get rid of these snapdragons or not. I already planted a couple of Vinca in here, just kind of planning for the possibility that I would be getting rid of the snapdragons. I'm going to add a few more. I did buy these Vinca. The rest of them I grew from seed, but I went ahead and bought a few more. To fill in this area, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be tired of these snapdragons soon. They're just too tall for this spot. Okay, so I had two in there of the ones that I grew from seed, and I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I now have 7 Vinca, and they are slightly different because the ones I just planted have white eyes. I just wasn't sure when I was buying them exactly what mine looked like at home, but I think it'll be okay. They're definitely the same color. So we'll see how long these snapdragons last. And by that I mean how long until I get really tired of them. This is some sort of Coreopsis. I wonder if I kept the tag. I don't think I did. It's a native. Got it at the native sale. It was just this cute little plant in a little 2-inch pot, and in my head it was going to be this nice little clump right here, and it was going to be really cute. Well, I don't know if I didn't read the information on it or what, but it's getting a lot bigger than I thought it would. It's not looking good at the front of the border. It was actually growing into the grass, and I have swooped it over to there. So it's not gonna work here. Gonna leave it for now. Probably gonna move it to the side yard. Everything that is not working where it is gets to go in the side yard when it is ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that Vinca. I thought about moving the Vinca because I'm like, it's not gonna show, but it'll fill in when I do finally move this. It's gonna bloom, so I'm kind of like curious to see what the blooms are like. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be yellow. So yeah, that's the plan with this. Not loving it right now. It's just gonna get hit with the mower and the trimmer, and it's just not gonna work there. This is, I always forget the name of this. Scabiosa, I believe. And I grew it from seed several years ago. This is probably its 3rd year, so this one is spent. I wanted to point it out because it blooms like all through. So, you know, it'll go in and out of bloom, but I'll have blooms through fall on this. So a good plant. I did grow several from seed. Here's another one. This one, it'll be the first time it has bloomed. So this one did really well. The rest have taken a long time to get going. So I'm sure it's been 3 years since I first planted them. And then I think I had one more over here, but I'm gonna go check and see if it's even still there anymore, because yeah, I tend to, things get swallowed up and I forget about them. It was in here, and I think I see it. There it is. Really competing with a lot of things. I should move it, shouldn't I? Should I move it right now? Probably. Each plant is only making a couple of flowers at a time, so it's definitely gonna look better planted with several together. Uh-oh. These other plants planted near here, this is my showy penstemon, and it just finished blooming and I cut it back. The leaves growing from the base will start to fill in and look better soon. So there's that. I need to water these things. I did want to point out 2 things here. You literally cannot see this. I just forget that it exists at all because it's the exact same color as the mulch. I need to figure out what to do about that. And then this guy, which was a dark red when I bought it, has turned this color. Like I said, we've had a ton of rain. This, I just wasn't thinking, and this is a low spot. So I'm gonna move it to a raised area and see if that helps. So this is where I had that allium, the Straussianum allium. I don't even know if I want it to be here anymore. Part of me is like, I should probably dig it up because it's gonna come back next year. Probably the main problem was that it's more, again, it wasn't really a front of the border plant. And I put it in the front of the border, so that's probably the problem. Hopefully I don't regret leaving it here. I have a hard time finding front of the border plants. This hen and chicks definitely is. So here's the current state of this area, and I'm still trying to figure this area out, what I should do long term. But these are the Celosia that I just loved last year. You can see the rabbits have eaten down the bottom of them, and they're kind of floppy. Like, it's not working for me at all. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm actually going to cut them down and see if they'll grow back. I think they will. I'm going to cover them with some cages, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Vinca in front because it's just feeling kind of bare. Look at that. Gone for 2 seconds and the bunny arrived. Oh gosh. Okay, so I just can't stand the way that these look. They're flopping over, they're long and leggy. And, well, they look long and leggy because the rabbits have been eating them. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it like that. I don't know what I'll do with those. And then I'm gonna cover them with some wire cages. So, another thing that happened is, trim this real quick. I did like a circle around the fountain, and the ones that are behind the fountain have been completely swallowed up by the catmint. My thought was that I would move at least one or two of them that are over there. Kind of do some more, move some over here. Okay, I think I'm gonna move some of these. These ones aren't eaten as bad because the catmint, but I'm not gonna be able to enjoy them back there. So I'm gonna go ahead and move them. I also have a couple of places where they're showing up around the yard where I might move them here as well. I'm gonna go grab those. Okay, so these are ones that had reseeded. Sorry about the bad lighting here. These are ones that had reseeded in other places. So I'm gonna plant those two. And then these that are back here, I'm gonna move forward as well. There's probably better places for this, but this is the first place I saw. And it's hot. This wasn't my plan today to move this oregano, so I'm just sticking it here for now. One good thing about Vinca is I've never seen the rabbits eat it. So I like that a lot. Now, is that too spread out? Okay, I realize the lighting's pretty awful right now, but I now have the Celosia all back there, covered by a rabbit cage. Then I have the 3 kaleidoscope Abelia, and then 4 Vinca between the Abelia. And I tried to put the Vinca as far back from the edge as I could because I think it will fill in, and I don't want it getting too close to the grass. I know right now it's like all you can see are those cages, but I have vision. I think it's going to be better than it was before. And then around this edge, I have that golden oregano. It looks, I think it looks good, other than the fact that, it was just watered a lot. I do have another golden oregano just around the corner, so I think that will work. And then that same chartreuse over here in the Abelia. So this pot's not necessarily a mistake, but I'm just ready to redo it because, okay, what happened was I had a bunch of lettuce in here in the spring, and then I've kind of been putting a few other things in, and so, my containers tend to just evolve in that way, which is fine. I decided, since I had some big blank spots, that I would stick, this is just a cutting from a begonia that I have. I stuck 2 cuttings in here. This was literally like yesterday or the day before, so they're kind of struggling from me just sticking them in dirt. I don't really like the color of that foliage. Everything else is so bright, and then this is kind of like an army green, and I'm not loving it. So I also, I really like this pot, but I've been raising it up on just rocks because I didn't want it sitting right on the ground. So I did find this just little riser plant stand. But in the meantime, I was at Costco the other day grocery shopping, and I found this pot. I can't remember, it was either $29.99 or $39.99, not sure. It's a pretty good size. I was happy with that price and I grabbed it. I do love like turquoise and teal. So I'm just gonna switch things up. I'm not unhappy with this black pot. I will probably use it again, maybe here later, or I'll probably use it somewhere else. But I think I wanna use the plant stand with my new little teal pot, and probably just reuse all of these plants. I did on my recent trip to Alexandria, I got the idea to stick spider plants in with my outdoor containers. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to add that to it. Another reason I'm wanting to switch things up for now is all of these rocks are here temporarily while we wait for the side yard to be redone, and then we'll rebuild the wall. So usually the patio comes to here, but it's shrunk a little bit. So having a skinnier pot in the middle will make it feel a little bit less crowded to me. like I usually do, I'm gonna go ahead and put some sticks and yard waste in the bottom. I'm going to reuse all that dirt. I'm not reusing these cuttings, so those can come out. This is what alyssum always looks like for me. I'm not going to mess with it. Give up on that. Everything else I want to save. Just going to set these plants aside for now. I don't remember if these were cuttings or actual plants. This was the plant for sure. Okay, now we can use all of that dirt. So the spider plant is going to be my thriller. The basil is also fairly large, so I'm also going to have that be towards the back. This is going to stay small, so that will be in the front. I think I'll put one of these on either side. And then the coleus in the middle. Do have the creeping Jenny as well. Put that there. I'm gonna need more dirt after all, maybe. I definitely like that better. Hopefully this creeping Jenny will start to look good. Well, that just turned out exactly how I was picturing in my head, and I just couldn't be happier. I think it's a great way to end my work day. Just in case anybody doesn't know what all those plants were, I have 2 of the annual geraniums, pelargoniums. I have a little creeping Jenny that I just originally took from the yard. All of this came from that other pot except for my spider plant, which came from inside. It has been hardened off though. This is the cyclamen. 2 of the coleus from my rainbow mix, and then a purple dark opal basil. I did want to point out one other change that I made. For those faithful viewers, you might have noticed that I had some Impatiens. I had 5 of them dotted here, and it was not working for me at all. It just wasn't working for me. I think that having this one big mass of Vinca is better than just having, it just didn't look right to me. And then also over here, I didn't like the way that it was kind of taking away from this hydrangea. So I felt like it would be better to just have just the hydrangea there. So the Impatiens that I removed, so there was one there and one there, I put all of those into this container over here. You might recognize this. It was in my potager garden this spring with some lettuces in it. So now I have removed everything except for the hellebore. So the hellebore was there in the spring. There was also lettuces and pansies, and I did put the creeping Jenny in there in the spring. So now we just have creeping Jenny, hellebore, and then the Impatiens. And hopefully that creeping Jenny will fill in. There's another piece, kind of a bigger piece actually, in the back, but the hellebore blooms are all pointing the other way. So maybe I should move that creeping Jenny up to here. I don't know if I will, but anyway, that's looking pretty good, I think. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something along the way, and I really enjoy sharing my garden with you. See you soon.